Want to see how to make these really fun coiled and beaded teardrop earrings? Keep watching. So in order to make this, we will need the following items. A teardrop frame, earrings, head pin, teeny tiny little jump ring, and a number of crystals. That kind of just depends on how close together you want to put these bad boys. So on this one, there are 13 crystals around the outside, and these are 4mm bicones. And then here I have a 4mm bicone and a 6mm bicone. So you're also going to need some 26 gauge craft wire that matches your teardrop. So you're going to start out with about 18 inches, so that's about a foot, and then about a half a foot. And then I have my flush cutter here to cut that. So we're going to find the middle, and we're going to string a crystal down to the middle. So what you're going to do is start at the bottom, and you're going to have one wire on one side and one wire on the other side. Like this. Stop making noise, I'm filming. I'm just kidding. Okay, so what you're going to do then is choose one side to start with. And so how I'm going to choose is just kind of at random. So I'm going to work on this side. And what I'm going to do is take this wire, the one that's on that side, and go through the teardrop and hold the crystal in place at the bottom and wrap the wire around. Go through the teardrop again, wrap the wire around. Go through the teardrop again and wrap that wire around. So we should have 3 coils. Now in order to anchor this crystal in before we go any further, we're going to grab the other side of the wire and bring it through the opposite way and hold the crystal, bring the wire through, and wrap it around. So we're basically coiling when we're trying to get as tight of coils as we possibly can. And then if you notice this side is a little tighter than that side, what you can easily do is just use your fingertips or fingernails and kind of push the wire back together. So that's what we should look like so far. You'll have one wire coming out on one side of the teardrop and one on the other. And by side, I mean this side versus this side, as well as this side versus this side. So I'm going to continue on with the side that I have chosen. I'm going to put a crystal on my wire, hold it at the bottom, bring it through the teardrop, and coil through the teardrop, through the teardrop, coil, through the teardrop, and coil. And like I said, you're going to try to keep these coils as tight as you can. So pick up a crystal, go through the teardrop, and remember to kind of hold that bead in place. That's really going to help to keep your coils tight. So go through it 3 times in between each crystal, and that'll give you these visible coils. So I'm going to keep that up and finish here, and then I'll show you how to get started on the other side. Okay, so I finished with the side. I've ended this side by coiling 3 times just like normal. So I'm going to take my flush cutter and very carefully trim the tail end off so that it is flush. You can kind of poke it down a little bit if you want to. Might not be necessary. In this case, it's necessary, of course, because I'm filming and all things like that happen when you're filming. So, how to start on the next side is just turn it over and carry on as usual. So, I will add my crystal to the wire. It wants to get away from me here. Add your crystal to the wire, hold it in place, coil 3 times. 1, 2, oops, 3, and it will start to, of course, build up this side as well. So once I've done that side, I'm going to come back to you. Okay, so now I have an empty frame, and my next step is to fill it with a little dangle. So I'm going to grab my head pin, I'm going to put a 6mm bicone on, and then a little spacer and another little spacer, and then my 4mm bicone. So I have a little stack like that. Now, what you could do, if you're ambitious, is you could wrap this directly into this little hole at the top. But what I'm going to do, just to make it a little easier, is I'm going to make a loop and then attach it into the frame with a jump ring. So how I'm going to make that loop is I'm going to grab my chain nose pliers, I'm going to bend the wire into a right angle, switch to my round nose pliers, grab right like that, push the wire up, around, and down. So then it looks like this. Then I'm going to hang that on the bottom nose of my round nose pliers, take the tail end straight out to the other side so that it then looks like that. And then I'm going to grab across the surface of the loop with my chain nose pliers and take the head pin around and around and around the post that the beads are on, spiraling downward towards the beads, like so. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to trim the tail end off, always either grabbing what you're cutting off or covering your cut so that the little piece doesn't fly and cause any eye injuries. I'm going to then adjust my little coil to make it perfect. And then we have something that looks like that. So we're going to take our handy dandy jump ring. I'm going to hold it so that the break is at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to take my other chain nose pliers and I'm going to open it. So notice how I opened it in this direction and not like this. That's important. You're going to then hook your little dangle into it and then hook that directly into your little earring. So then, since you have two things in one jump ring, it can make it a little tricky, but just try your best to get it closed as carefully and securely as you can. Like so. So these make really fun pendants. You can just make a nice little simple pendant, hang it on a cord, add a jump ring or a bail to the top, but they really make nice statement earrings. So that's what I'm going to do with this one. I have a kidney wire here, which is really easy. I'm just going to slide it around the back of the kidney wire and then push it right down into the little divot. And make another one, and you have an awesome pair of earrings. So thanks for watching. Like us on Facebook, and like the video on YouTube. Subscribe if you want to see more. And have fun creating.